Welcome to lesson 8.2, part 1, special right triangles. Today we're going to be focusing on 45, 45, 90 triangles. So looking at the first part, part 1, the acute angles of an isosceles right triangle are both 45 degrees. 45 degrees. Another name for an isosceles right triangle is 45, 45, 90. If each leg has length x and the hypotenuse has length y, you can solve for y in terms of x. So putting into practice what we did before, x squared, so that's a squared plus b squared, right, which is another x, equals c squared. Okay, so this would be 2x squared is equal to y squared. And then we would have to take the square root of both of those. And when you do that, you get y equals, so the square root of x squared is just x, but the square root of 2 stays underneath the house. So that means that the hypotenuse is equal to x times square root of 2. So then that leads us to this box here. It says in a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, both legs are congruent, and the length of the hypotenuse is the square root of 2 times the length of a leg. Okay, so if we go here, okay, here we have the hypotenuse h. Well, h is square root of 2 times the leg. In part B, again, we're looking for the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse x is equal to 2 square root of 2 times square root of 2. Remember, when you have square root of 2 times square root of 2, this stuff just gets you 2. It undoes itself. So in this case, the hypotenuse is 4. In this next example, they're asking us to look for a leg. So in these two examples, we were looking for the hypotenuse. But this bottom one is different because they're asking us to find a leg. So we know that x is equal to 6 divided by square root of 2. Because in order to get to 6, they multiplied something by square root of 2. Now, I'm not sure if you knew this before or not, but you're not allowed to have a radical sign in the denominator. So in order to get rid of it, we're going to multiply top and bottom by whatever radical is in the denominator. Because what that does is, remember when you multiply a square root by a square root, you just get what was inside. So here you'd have 6 square root of 2 all over. This would be square root of 4, which is the same thing as just 2. Now we have 6 over 2 that can be reduced. So that would be 6 divided by 2 is 3. 3 square root of 2 is equal to x. Okay. I'm going to scroll up here. A high school softball diamond is a square. I'm going to draw that square. All right. So the square, so all sides are the same. And then I know those are all 90-degree angles. The distance from base to base is 60. So 60, 60, 60, and 60. The nearest foot, how far does the catcher throw the ball? So if this is home plate, right, there's home. and here's second. So we're going to make a straight line there. Okay, so now we have a 90 degree and 45, 45. So basically right now we're asked to find the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse is always, so I'm going to label this distance as D. Okay, so distance, the hypotenuse is always square root of 2 times the leg for a 45, 45, 90 triangle. Well, they want us to, it says to the nearest foot. So we'll type that into a calculator and we will get 84.85, etc. And if we round that to the nearest foot, that would be 85 feet. Okay. So again, in a 45, 45, 90 degree triangle, the legs, the two legs, A and B, have to be the same, but C, the hypotenuse, is always the square root of 2 times one of those legs. And that's it for part 1 of 8.2.